Genshin Impact, one of the largest games of 2020, trended worldwide on Twitter as fans called for a boycott of the game, and the hashtag has almost 60,000 tweets using it. Plus, former caster turned Cloud9 GM HenryG leaves C9 after the failure of the Colossal program and the org backing out of NA CSGO. And Respawn is trying to find a solution to a bug that is deleting entire accounts of players who are playing Apex Legends. All that and more next on The Breakdown. Boycott Genshin Impact trends on Twitter, hashtag explained. MiHoYo's open world game has proved to be one of the sleeper hits of 2020, pulling in millions of players from all over the world. Since then, Genshin Impact has featured numerous updates and additions to its ever-growing roster. The world of Teyvat is absolutely brimming with all kinds of colorful characters, unique quests, bloodthirsty bosses, and devastatingly powerful weapons. But just because there have been plenty of people who have enjoyed the game so far, it doesn't mean that the game has been without its own fair share of controversies, and that is finally culminated in an uproar based around one current issue, but takes into account plenty of past issues as well. This time, what kicked the hashtag off was the inclusion of an enemy type called the Hilichurl. I think I'm saying that right. These enemies are a mob-level enemy, low-level, goblin-like creatures that are found across the entire in-game world. They may differ in both size and strength, but in general, they're fairly uniform in their design choice. However, criticisms started popping up claiming that the Hilichurl design is distasteful and disrespectful to people of native origin here in North America. Some tweets that started the hashtag gaining large momentum spoke to personal experiences and how they really did not like the way that the enemy type was portrayed in a game that already has a few problematic issues. Across the hashtag and Twitter trend, a variety of reasons have been listed by players as a reason for the boycott. These have included the sexualization of one of the game's younger characters, Flora, few options to play as characters who are not white in skin tone, a potential villainization of indigenous people within the game, a variety of security concerns, particularly regarding a lack of two-factor authentication, and the release strategy of the game's different content drops. At the time of filming this, MiHoYo has not responded to the comments and complaints building on Twitter. Whether the development company ever responds is still to be determined, but as of right now, it seems like both the Hilichurls and other issues that were in the game before are still going to be there whenever you log back in next time. HenryG leaves Cloud9 org after CSGO Colossal program dismantled. It's a common storyline for what seems like months, if not years plus at this point, but North American Counter-Strike is in a bit of a rough place right now, and it seems to only be getting worse now that Cloud9 has bailed on their Colossal program that saw signing some of the biggest NA names in CSGO and bringing on a former caster to be the GM of the entire project. But with the dismantling of the team, so too goes the GM, as HenryG has announced his leave of Cloud9 as an organization, leaving his future plans in limbo as people look on, not just to see what will happen with him next, but also what will happen with the players that were signed as a team less than 8 months ago. On March 26, Cloud9 confirmed they were exiting CSGO for the time being. Cloud9 CEO Jack Etienne cited, quote, undue stress and difficulties in providing boot camps, housing, and the mental health of the players, largely due to the global health crisis. This spelled the end of HenryG's time with C9 also, as he confirmed on April 6th. He too cites mitigating circumstances, which prevented his ambition from panning out as intended.
Cloud9 want to show that we're investing in CSGO and we're investing a substantial amount and we're investing in these players to make sure they feel like they're being compensated fairly. I'm not trying to get the cheapest deal on these players. I'm trying to, what's the cheapest amount I could possibly, I'm trying to pay them more than I can, Richard, if anything. I want them to be happy to play for the brand. I want them to turn up today to work and go, right, this is it. I've been given a once in a lifetime opportunity to make a ton of cash here to play Counter-Strike, and I'm going to play at the highest level. I want them to be motivated. I want to be on that server fired up, knowing that they've got to perform and live up to these expectations. There's a reason I'm paying these salaries, because I expect a top 5 team.
Will this allow HenryG to make a return to casting? Or will we see HenryG take on CSGO as a GM at another org sometime in the future? Respawn scramble and roll back Apex Legends servers to save players' deleted accounts and skins. Plenty of players were thrown into pure panic mode over the weekend as Apex Legends players logged into their accounts only to see that all of their progress had been deleted, including their stats, in-game cosmetics, and even the extremely rare heirloom weapons that can cost some players almost $1,000 to unlock. It is all caused by some bug that the Respawn developers have finally identified, causing them to roll back servers to an earlier version in order to try and fix the issue. Some players have already seen their progress and cosmetics restored on their accounts, which is super great, but at the same time, there are plenty of players still in the dark about whether they will ever see the return of their in-game items. This issue started all the way back in February, and while it wasn't as large spread then, it has really started affecting a much larger number of players in the recent weeks. The devs have finally made headway in figuring out what is causing all of the problems, saying recently on Twitter, "We've identified an issue with the database shard, which we believe has been contributing to the recent progression issues for PlayStation players. We will be migrating players off this shard, which may result in disconnects." A portion of their database has been acting up in simpler terms, and the solution is just move players' data onto a different section. But what about those who have already lost some or all of their data? Well, the good news is, it will most likely be completely restored. Soon though, the issues should be fixed, and the missing items should be a problem of the past. So jump on into Kings Canyon or Olympus with no fear. Your heirloom shards are safe once again. That's it for the news today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're always posting brand new content right here on our YouTube channel. But did you know that Checkpoint XP is the only syndicated radio show in over 70 cities across the US and Canada that talks exclusively esports and video games? If you go to our website at checkpointxp.com, you can see where we're airing and if we're in a city near you. And while you're there, check out the podcast feed for the breakdown and take the esports and video game news on the go. My name's Weirdbeard, and E3 going online, it's kind of a big story, right?